Hey Raymond, so what are you working on today?
Well, we're gonna actually build some seats today. We're gonna build some custom seats that are being shipped all over the world. And if you like, I can show you what we start with. We start with some dimensions. We start with a straight piece of pipe or tubing. This is what we end up with right here when we're done. These are our racing seats. Actually, these go into Ferraris, Lamborghinis, or whatever the customer wants. You have your arm support here, you got your lumbar support, you got all the brackets for you, and on the bottom, we got brackets where you can actually adjust it. We got a fitting that goes on the bottom of it, to where you can slide it back and forth and adjust it to your car. Pretty cool seat. I've already got this one pre-laid out, as you can see here. I've got my marks on my pipe. I got this one right here is a 70 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 70 degrees, and that's just for one part. So listen, you want to bend it?
Sure, what kind of metal is it?
This is just 065 tubing. Some people will just start bending it at 70 degrees. I don't like doing that, it's too hard. So what we'll do is we'll do the 90s first. This is a 90-degree bend. All right, get it in there, come over and look at my marks. You can focus in on that. See how I got a 90 on it? That way you'll know. You always want to mark your pipe or tube or whatever it is you're working on. That way you'll know exactly what you're doing. So let's go ahead and bend that. Now we're at a 90, right? Got a 90. You want to go a little bit past the 90 because you could always rebend it, kind of twist it back where you need it. Then one of the main thing is that people always kind of miss and overlook on piping or tubing or bending is this key factor right here. What you want to do is always make sure it's level. And if you don't do that, then it can cause problems later and more of a headache if you don't get it right the first time. It's easier here than it is trying to bend it by hand. We got our 90 there. That's okay, we're pretty close there, so there's our other 90. There's the bottom of the seat. So now what we do here is we do our 70s. And like I said, I've already got them pre-marked. I don't like the way that's going, I'm going to do it a different way. If you do one way, make sure you do them all the same way. Otherwise you'll have a messed up piece. Now what did I say you had to make sure of? Make sure it's level. So you're going to go over here, you're going to make sure this is level. All right. Now we're going to go 70 degrees on this. A little bit past. All right, that's one piece of the seat. One piece right here. That's your bottom base piece where your butt sits down. This is the second piece. I've already got them pre-marked and ready to go, save time. We're going to basically do, this is the top piece right here. And like I said, the first one you do doesn't really, this is pretty level. You want to make sure everything's pretty level, pretty close. Okay, I don't want to readjust this because I got it where I want it. The first one's not really a big deal, but after you start doing your first one, you want to make sure everything else is square and level. That's your hand. Okay guys, I got to tell y'all one thing. When you're working in the shop, you always got to make sure you have some sort of entertainment. No, keep going. I got to have my radio, and as you can see, I have my radio, and I got to listen to some music. Now I like this song. The top piece here. This is not a 70, this is a 45.
Does that require a lot of strength, or does?
It actually does it, depending on the thickness of your pipe. Some pipes are a little bit harder. This is just, like I said, it's an 065 wall. It's pretty thin, but it's very durable for a frame for your seat. Most of the seats nowadays are built into stuff like this. And as far as the weight goes, most of these are going in race cars, so they want to make sure the weight is down real low. You could use some heavier pipe, but if you do, it adds weight to the car, and race car drivers don't want that weight in the car. And you ask yourself, man, can you make money doing this? You can, but not about just making one. Yeah, if you want to charge somebody a whole lot of money, you're not going to have a client all the time. So what I do, I price this where I can make money if I make 10 or 15 or 20 of them. If you make one, I'm not going to make any money. It's not worth the time. It's not worth me going to get the material or anything else like that. So you want to get your clientele base. You want your clients where when they order something from you, you want to make sure they order 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 of them. Because like I said, for you to make 2 or 3 of these, you're not going to make any money because of your time, the material, the cost of going to get your material and stuff like that. So make sure when you build these, you have a clientele that's going to buy them from you. That goes with everything else. So we're going to leave that. I have another bin here, but we leave that because I actually custom fit that. So these are the 2 pieces. Pretty rough, aren't they? You really can't see a seat in there, can you? Look, this is my template. I got it marked here, so what I'll do there is I'll put my next 2 beside it, line them up, and I can mark each one of my marks. Look at my marks here. See what I mean? Now I don't have to sit there and remeasure, redo it all again, because it takes time. If you're getting paid for production, you want to make sure you just keep going and going and going, and they're all the same. There might be a little variations in the bend because they're all not always perfect. So that's why this tube, you can actually move it and flex it around a little bit. It's pretty, you can move it quite a bit.
Can you repurpose any of the scrap pieces that you mess up
really.
on?
Let me show you why. It's a good question. Let me show you why real quick, okay? Let's say this is a solid piece of steel, okay? That's a good question, Justin. Now this right here, I can rebend it, right? I can repurpose this. Let me show you why. See this solid piece here, I can reuse it because I can repurpose it. Look. Pretty straight, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we start using tubing is not it's not willing to help out. The same thing, right? Thin piece of pipe. What happens to that pipe? It gets flattened. It doesn't shape right. It's because it's hollow and it deforms the pipe. So you can't reuse this pipe. But like I said, on solid stop, we could use this over and over and over again. Look, hit it, bend it. Pretty straight.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't want to keep doing that because it actually weakens your metal. But you know, you can't reuse the tubing.
Okay.
But I do use a lot of stocking here for the strength and the inside of the pipe. Any other questions? This is a cutting tip right here. This is what you cut metal with. This is what you want to, like if you want to cut something, you can also do a little heating with it, but it's primarily for cutting, okay? This right here is called a rosebud tip. Okay, what this is for, I'm going to show you here in a minute, that you want to heat something up, bend it, or modify it. This tip here is called a washing tip. And what you do with this one, let's say if I have a piece of metal or something I need to, instead of cutting into the metal, this right here, you put it on the side and it cleans it and washes it off, okay? Really, really handy tip. So let's change this out real quick. Think about these torches. They don't need a whole big old bruiser to get them tight. All you need to do is tighten it. Feel how tight that is.
Oh, wow.
Pretty tight.
Yeah.
So you just, now what this is for, we're gonna heat something up real quick, but I know you gotta wear gloves, okay? All right. I'll heat up that red stock real quick. So I'm gonna show you how to bend it first of all, then we're gonna rebend it, and then we're gonna shape it. Bend it now. Just ease it. Then bend it some more. No. Flatten it out. Alright, stop. Now we're going to heat it up again. Now, go ahead and hit it and flatten it out. Alright. That's not actually the right hammer. They make all different kinds of hammers. That's cool stuff, man. Man, you could build anything in this shop. All you need is a small shop. You know?
Ooh, that looks hot.
Come here, Justin. Bend it now. I'm gonna go ahead. Come here, Justin. Bend it now. I'm gonna go ahead. Question?